and welcome back. So I put a question out to my authentic 1930s, 1940s hairstyling group on Facebook about what hairstyles they wanted to see me do some tutorials on. And a lot of people wanted the Gibson roll or Gibson Tuck hairstyle. And then a lot of people just really wanted to figure out a simple, casual style, a casual updo even. And I thought, those two actually go really well together. They are very casual in my mind. Some of them can be very simple. Some of them can be a little bit more intricate and harder to do. So I thought I would do actually 3 different styles of the Gibson roll, Gibson tuck that you can do. And each one is going to increase in difficulty. So hopefully this will kind of give you some ideas of how to casually style your hair in an updo. It's not a traditional updo because in my mind an updo is kind of all the hair up, whether it's in a poodle style or like a French twist. And to me that's a full updo. Most of these, your hair kind of sits right here at the base of your neck, but it's still off your neck, so it's up off of your neck, and to me it's a little bit more of a casual style. You can easily fancy it up with a few hair flowers or a couple of barrettes or anything like that, but it is a really good, simple, casual style that you can do. And most of them, at least the first 2 that I'm going to show you, you can do in 10-15 minutes. They're also a hairstyle I think can be done on straight hair. You're not going to really see a lot of curls in this. There's one style that I do that I use some of my curl, but you don't have to. I do think that it is easier, it holds better if your hair has a little bit of curl to it, has some wave to it. If your hair is stick straight, I honestly don't know because I don't have straight hair, but I imagine that you could still do some of these styles with completely straight hair and you'll still get a really nice authentic hairstyle. So it's pretty versatile. It's like I said, most of them are pretty quick. And the great thing is that I'm going to show you some variations, and even though they're 3 separate hairstyles or 3 different ways of doing the Gibson tuck or the Gibson roll, the way that you do the front part of your hair, you can mix and match this. So you could have multiple different hairstyles with changing up the front part and changing up the way that you do the Gibson roll. So it's really great to have this hairstyle in your arsenal because you can change it up so often and make it super casual, and then you can dress it up a little bit more. So I hope this is helpful, and I'm definitely going to give you some really fun tips and tricks on how I do mine, and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. So I've got all of my tools out here because I'm going to be doing 3 different hairstyles for you. But the basic things that you're going to need for a Gibson roll, the first style that I'm going to show you, you just need a hair tie, and you might need some larger bobby pins, and a hairbrush and a comb, and that's it. Getting farther into the other styles, you definitely need to get your hair combs here. These are my absolute favorite grip tooth hair combs. These are fantastic. They work amazingly well, and they will hold in your hair forever. And then the kind of the crux of this Gibson roll. Now the Gibson roll and the Gibson tuck are 2 different hairstyles that give a similar look. So the roll is actually you're rolling the hair. Either if you have enough hair and if you're adept to do it, you can just roll your own hair up into a barrel roll. But most of us need to use some sort of rat or hair foam to roll the hair around. Now the Gibson Tuck is you kind of roll the hair and then you tuck it into itself. So you're not using a hair rat to create that bulk. You're actually just tucking your hair in. So that's going to be the first style that I show you. It's very simple, and again, it creates a little bit of a different look to it, but the concept is very similar. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about hair rats. There's a couple of different kinds. These are the synthetic rats that you can buy. You can get them in just this length, or you can actually get the donut. I don't have any donuts because I've cut them all up. So this was a small donut. It came like this, and I just cut it right down the middle and created my hair rat. These are fantastic. I like these for the very back of the hair, and I'll show you why in a moment. But the other hair rat is making it with your own hair. So this is one of my actual hair rats, and I collect my hair after I brush it, and I have this beautiful vintage hair collector that I just keep on my vanity, and I just collect my hair after I brush it out. And so I can create my own rats in different shapes and sizes, and it just makes it really easy because it generally matches your hair color, and the hair just gets collected together. I know some people think it's gross, but it's hair. So you just collect it all together, and then you can brush it together if you want. I just kind of mat it together, and then I will wrap it in a hairnet. So this is actually one of my old hairnets that I have been using for a while. When I do my wet set, I put my hairnet on. So what you're going to do is you'll take this is my collection of hair that I've just kept matting it together basically. And you just set it into the hairnet, and then I just like to kind of wrap it around and just keep kind of like a little spider web. And you just keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping, making sure that this edge here is really holding everything in. Yep, you just keep going, just keep wrapping it around and around and around until it's created this little kind of just a nice solid hair rat. So I have a couple of these that I'm going to use later on, and these I love to use on the side here, because they can be manipulated a lot better than these synthetic ones. These synthetic ones are pretty much, that's the shape that it's in. You can stretch them out a little bit, but with these, I put these on the side, and I really need to kind of manipulate that in there to fit around my head. So that's where my own hair comes in handy for those types. You can use these hair rats in the front of your hair to give a little bit more of a pompadour. They're just fantastic to have anytime you need a little bit of lift or volume in your hair. I just like having them. I've got a bunch of them. But for the synthetic ones, my trick is that I have gone and purchased wig clips. So this is it open. And I have sewn them onto the ends of these synthetic hair rats. And this way, when I put it on, I can just clip it into the basically like right at the scalp. And once you snap that in, it's nice and closed, and it stays secure in your hair. To me, that is much easier than trying to put several bobby pins in and keeping it there. They just don't seem to hold very well for me. So sewing in these wig clips has really helped to keep that nice and sturdy and nice and strong in there. Now, I have a large one and a small one. And both of these, I use these for the different looks. So this is the one I do for the more advanced, mostly because with this one, I kind of stretch it out a little bit, and I'll be doing more of a U shape like this. With the smaller one, I like to keep it straight across, so I just have the one roll just at the base of my neck. You may need a couple of duckbill clips just for sectioning off your hair. And yep, just your brush, your comb, a few bobby pins, and pomade, and all of your finishing products, hairspray, and all of that stuff as well. So let's get started. We'll start off with the first hairstyle, which is a little bit more simple, and hopefully I'm going to be turning around a lot, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. But let's see how this goes. Okay, so we're going to start off with the more simple style. This is technically a Gibson Tuck, not a Gibson roll. So we're not actually going to be using any of the hair rats for this one. We're going to be using a hair tie and a couple of bobby pins. I like these longer ones for this. And your brush and comb. And I'll show you a couple of different ways to do the front side that you can easily incorporate in to this simple style. So just want to make sure that your hair is nice and brushed out. You don't have to worry too much about too much curl with this one, but okay. So I part my hair on the side. If you have a center part, this still works. You can do it exactly the same way. You're just going to roll things from the center. But I have a side part, so we're gonna go from here. So I just start taking sections from the smaller side. You don't have to part your hair for this. Just keep taking those sections. And then right when I get to right behind my ear, I stop. And from here, if you push up a little bit, you'll get a little bit of height there. And then take your bobby pins and just try to pin it right into the roll. And then I take another one from above. So I'm crisscrossing my bobby pins. So it if you can see, it kind of hides the bobby pin in there when you're getting it right into the roll there. So I've got one coming up and one coming down, and they're crisscrossing. Okay? So now on this side, you can incorporate this into the roll, or you can section it off, hold that off to the side, do the roll, and then you can do a nice little wave here and add some curl once you're finished. I'm going to incorporate it all into the roll just so you can see how the whole thing comes together. So same thing, just start twisting, just kind of grab some hair, twist, grab some hair, twist. And then right when I get to behind the ear, just take it from back and just push it forward. And that gives you a little bit of height here. same thing. You're going to take your bobby pins. You're going to go into the roll. And then this one's going to go up into the roll. And just try to make sure that they crisscross so it anchors it right in there. Okay. This would be a really fantastic hairstyle to leave just like this. You could put a couple of hair flowers right here behind the rolls if you want. And this would be a great hairstyle. But we're going to continue going, and you want to continue going with the roll. So I've anchored it here, but now we're going to keep rolling. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. Just going to keep rolling that side. And same over here. And so here, so you just tie that into a regular ponytail. Now, right in the center, you'll split that and take the ends and tuck it in. I do this first tuck and I pull it all the way through first. Again, this would be a great hairstyle just on its own. You could leave it like this if you wanted to have the hair out. But for the Gibson Tuck, you take it again and just start tucking it in to where you've rolled your hair. You just tuck in those ends. And depending on how long your hair is, you might have to secure it a little bit with a couple of bobby pins. And just keep tucking it in. Grab a couple bobby pins. So from here you can, finesse it a little bit by just kind of smoothing things out. You can, if you want a little bit more height, I would stick my thumb into that roll and just kind of pull that up a little bit, give a little bit more oomph to those rolls. But all in all, this is a very simple hairstyle. It gets your hair off your face. This works really well with a hat. You can put a hat on, you can put a couple of hair flowers in the back, especially if this part tends to be a little bit messier, which usually mine does because that's where my curls sit. So a hair flower back there is really good. But I love this hairstyle as just a very simple, quick, casual style. Now, if your bobby pins are showing onto this off the side here and you don't like that, at this point you could probably take them out because the roll has been incorporated all together. But I actually prefer to keep them in just because it really helps to anchor everything and keep it staying, because sometimes those rolls do like to get out on their own, and we don't want that. So here is the first simple style, casual style for a Gibson Tuck. Okay, for this second hairstyle, we are going to use our trusty hair rat. This is the synthetic one that has the wig clips on the ends here. I like to use the smaller size of this one for this style. I have a lot of hair, it's very thick, and so the bigger rollers tend to give a much bigger, more volume of a roll. And I don't want that for this look. This smaller one works best for me. So we're gonna section off this side here, just to right behind the ear. And I do want a little bit of volume here, so I'm just gonna do some light teasing right at the ends, or right at the roots here. So we're going to take twist, maybe 1 or 2 times, depends on how much oomph you want. And I'm holding it right here at the center. I'm not holding it down here like I did before. I'm holding it more kind of center up, because I want to get this height. And I take my hair comb and I just slide it right in. Okay, so that gives this nice curve here. And this, I'm actually sectioning off my fringe area, so I'm going to do something a little different with that. So I'm going to just pin that away for now. And then you take the same section from right at the crown to right behind your ear. Do the same thing. You're going to tease just a little bit at the roots. And do 1, maybe 2 twists and push forward. And again, just slide in that hair comb right onto the side. They don't have to be equal. This side, you're going to do more of the bang here, so having this side a little bit less poofy is fine. But this is where you can adapt it so many different ways. So if you have a large bang section like I do, you can do some curls up here. You could do a bit of a like a poodle updo if you want, just in this section. But I want to get a bit of a swirl here. So I'm going to pin it right here. And then I have all of this, I have this tail here that has a bunch of curls, and I'm just going to gather that up and kind of pin them how they want to go, honestly. It's not really about what I want, especially when it comes to my hair. It has a life of its own sometimes. Okay. So again, this would be a fine hairstyle all on its own. You could fiddle around a little bit more with this, but this would be a great hairstyle just the way it is. But we're doing a Gibson Tuck or Gibson roll. So I like to take a little bit of pomade because you do want a bit of a smoother crown for this. Around. Just going to smooth that out. Now you want to be very careful when you are combing through where the clips are, your combs are. You want to hold the comb as you comb that through so you don't pull out that nice volume that you created with that comb. Okay, so now you have your hair rat, and you want to make sure that when you're brushing your hair, you're brushing it from underneath, because that's actually the part of the hair that you're going to see. So you just want to make sure that that's nice and smooth. And I like to place my hair rat right towards the end. I can't take it all the way out because my hands are just not long enough. My arms aren't long enough. So I just take it in, I place it there, and I start tucking the ends in. And then you just roll it up. You want to kind of tug and roll at the same time. You get that really nice, secure roll. And you want to make sure that the ends of if you've got your wig clips here, you want to make sure that those are sticking out. And just go ahead and clip them in and snap it. And same on the other side. And here's just where you kind of separate the hair all the way across. You can take it towards the end to cover up these snaps if you want. Okay, there you go. That's level 2. So it's a little bit more difficult just because you're using the hair rat. It's just something that you have to get used to and see how it works for you. Like, I can't put my hands all the way back. My hair's pretty long right now. So just laying it down and then kind of tucking the hair, starting to roll the hair over the rat that way that works for me. For this one, because I do want this nice kind of small roll, so you're kind of rolling and tucking and you're squeezing it together. So you're pulling all the hair around the rat as you're rolling it up. I prefer, to me, this is a really classic everyday style from the 40s. I think women would wear this pretty regularly. I've seen tons and tons of photographs with hairstyles like this. So it's pretty simple. It doesn't really take that long. It's going to take some practice, of course, but I really like having these wig clips. I know it's not authentic, but I don't care because it works for me. It gives an authentic look. So there you go. I hope you like it. And we'll move on to the more advanced one. Okay, so now for the third and the hardest one. This is even a little bit difficult for me, especially if I haven't done it in a while, which I haven't, so I hope you bear with me if I get a little frustrated with my hair. Plus, it's starting to get a little frizzy and doesn't want to cooperate since I've done 2 full hairstyles on it already. But we're gonna do it anyway. So you're gonna need your larger hair roll, preferably one that has the clips on it, and then 2 kind of, 1 medium, 1 small. It depends on how you want to do your front section. I'm actually rolling everything all together, so I like to have a little bit of a larger one on this side and then one that's going to fit my side roll here. So you'll need that. You'll definitely need some pomade, and make sure that your hair is nicely brushed out. You want the crown to be pretty smooth, so you really want to put a little bit of pomade on there to kind of keep everything nice and smooth in the back there. So I section it off with my sides here, again starting from the crown back to the back of my ear. And for now we're just going to section off these sides because we're going to start with the back of the hair. It's actually easier to match things up once you've done the back roll. So we're going to section that off, and then on this side here, same thing, crown all the way to the back of the ear. Okay, so smooth that out really nicely. Brush out the bottom part of your hair because that's what's going to be seen. So you want to make sure that that's nice and smooth. It's always good to have a little bit of pomade on your hands as you're going through, so you're kind of constantly smoothing it out with a little bit of pomade. Okay, so now you're going to take your large roller. Okay, so you're going to place your roller as far down as you can, as far down as your arms will allow. Start to tuck your hair and then kind of roll and tuck at the same time. And we're going to create kind of a U-shaped here. So I'm going to, as I'm holding, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up and secure it on this side. That way I can incorporate this roll into this side here. So same thing over here. Just pull that a little bit and snap that right in. Don't worry about this section right now. We're going to bring all of that hair around once we match it up with these here. Okay, so take your smaller side, a little bit of pomade, and I'm taking my smaller natural hair rat, and I just wrap that around like a ribbon. And again, you're going to kind of like pull and roll. pull and roll, and that will give you a nice, strong, secure roll there. And just with a bobby pin, go ahead and stick it right through that roll. You can do a double bobby pin to make sure you crisscross. So it's nice and secure. So now you can take the rest of this hair and just start kind of pulling it, tucking it in, and try to match it up with this roll here. This is definitely the most difficult part for me. Okay, so then this side, a little bit of pomade. And I'm taking a little bit of a larger hair rat here. Secure this end. You want to try and get the actual hair rat and your hair and secure that down to your scalp. Same with this side. Actually readjust the clip here and try and match it up as much as possible. And just start taking the hair and kind of pulling it up to where it matches up. Okay, so it's not perfect. I think if my hair was set a little bit differently, or if I had done this kind of as the first one without fussing with it so much, it might have gone a little bit better than this. But at least you get the idea, and you can see how just kind of fiddling around with it, you can maybe get these sections to match up a little bit more. Or you can totally just throw in a couple of hair flowers right in those sections, and then you just never know. And it all looks like one piece. But you get the idea. Again, it's obviously, it was a little bit difficult for me to do. I have not done this hairstyle in a very long time. I would do something like this if I was doing a reenactment, or if I was going to a specific 1940s event. But it's, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of fussing, and your hair just has to want to work with you. So, and mine was not so happy to do that today. But I hope you get the idea, and I hope that some of the tips and tricks that I was able to show you will be helpful. I definitely recommend getting you some wig clips and to just sew them onto the synthetic hair rats. They work really, really well. Start collecting your own hair. Even if you just stick it in a plastic baggie, you don't have to have a fancy hair receiver, although, I mean, who doesn't want a beautiful piece of, to put your hair in on your vanity. So if you can find one, fantastic, start using that. And but there's so many different ways that you can use hair rats, and it's not just for these hairstyles. So definitely try it out and see what you like and what works for you. And hopefully some of these hairstyles will be something that you can add to your repertoire. You can, as I said, you can really make any kind of combination that you want with these Gibson rolls. It's a great kind of a half up, half down type situation. Even though all of your hair is up technically, it still gives that kind of half up, half down look to it. So any of the stuff that I've done up in the front, you can easily just wear your hair down. You could wear it in a snood. You can wear just a hairnet. There's so many different variations that you can do with this, and hopefully you can add that into your toolbox for all of your hairstyles. So thanks again for coming back to my channel, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.